Let's talk about criminals, shall we? Because apparently, according to the White House, the definition of a criminal has changed. Forget drug traffickers, violent offenders, white-collar thieves, or politicians with laundry lists of scandals. The new definition is working immigrants. Yes, you heard that right. Men and women who wake up at 4 a.m., lace up their boots, grab their lunch pail, and head out to clean offices, build homes, or process food that ends up on American tables. These people aren't committing crimes. They're earning paychecks. And yet, this administration has weaponized law enforcement to raid workplaces and handcuff those who are guilty of, wait for it, providing for their families. Welcome to America under this president, where the criminals are the ones holding down jobs, and the law-abiding leaders are the ones hiding their own felonies under layers of political protection. Now, if we want to play the who's a criminal game, let's start at the top. Has the president been accused of felonies? Indicted? Convicted? Well, depending on which courtroom you step into, yes, this man has been wrapped up in fraud trials, hush money scandals, and corruption cases that would make Richard Nixon blush. Yet somehow, in his world, an immigrant scrubbing floors is a bigger threat to democracy than a president facing charges for financial crimes and abuse of power. You can't make this up. And if that's not enough, let's look at his administration. From cabinet members who forget to pay their taxes, to appointees who can't keep themselves out of corruption scandals. The list reads less like a leadership team and more like the cast of a true crime documentary. And it's not just the president. Let's pull receipts on Republicans as a whole. Recently, Republican lawmakers, donors, and campaign operatives have been convicted for bribery, corruption, election fraud, insider trading, and you name it. Yet these same people go on stage and pound their fists about law and order. Law and order for whom? It seems to apply to everyone but themselves. Because if you have an R next to your name, apparently accountability just slides right off. The hypocrisy is nauseating. Here's the kicker. Why the obsession with demonizing immigrants? Why the constant rhetoric about immigrants being a threat to American values? Let's not forget the president's wives. Yes, plural. Every single one of them except the first is an immigrant. Suddenly, immigrants are the problem, but when it comes to his personal life, they're just fine. So, working immigrants who build the economy are villains, but immigrants he marries are off limits. That's called hypocrisy with a capital H. If immigrants are such a threat, then maybe the president should take a long, hard look in the mirror. This is not law and order. This is intimidation. When you send police into workplaces, rounding people up for the crime of having a job, that's not justice, that's Gestapo-style control. It's the weaponization of government power against the most vulnerable, while the real criminals hide behind podiums and Fox News talking points. This is tyranny, plain and simple. And here's the truth. We, the people, are the last line of defense. Democracy doesn't die in a dramatic explosion. It dies quietly, when everyday citizens shrug their shoulders and let authoritarian behavior slide. We cannot afford to shrug. We cannot afford to wait. The time to act is not tomorrow, not in some distant election. It's now, today. So what do? We need to unite and speak up. We refuse to let criminal be redefined to mean immigrant worker, while those in power skate by with actual felonies. We call out hypocrisy. We fight disinformation. We organize, we vote, and we demand accountability not just from the other party but from everyone in power. Because if we don't, the definition of a criminal is going to keep shifting until it eventually lands on us. And by then, it'll be too late. So I'll leave you with this. If you want to know what tyranny looks like, don't look at the man stocking shelves at midnight or the woman cleaning hotel rooms. Look at the man in the White House, surrounded by convicted cronies, weaponizing law enforcement against working families, and calling it justice. That's not justice. That's cowardice. That's corruption. And that, my friends, is the real crime. We the people must stand together, because democracy isn't something we inherit. It's something we fight for. And the fight is right now. So, to the president who cries law and order while dodging his own legal battles, we see you. To the Republicans who preach morality while getting booked for corruption, we see you too. And to the immigrants being labeled as criminals for daring to work, America sees you, and you are not the criminals here. The fight for democracy is here, the line in the sand is drawn, and history will judge where we stand. Let's make sure we're on the right side of that line. Because while they redefine crime to target workers and the powerless, the Epstein files remain locked away to protect the elite, because partial is not enough to shut us up. And critics like John Bolton are investigated by the FBI simply for speaking out against this administration. That is not justice, it's a cover-up and intimidation. And it's proof that if we don't act now, the truth itself will be the next casualty. This is Rob with Literal BS. See you next time.